In today's video, we will talk about the news that is on everyone's lips today with the possible approval of a Bitcoin ETF as early as tomorrow and its implementation next week. I'm going to give you my opinion on this. We will also see that volatile days like we had yesterday can be an excellent opportunity to enter cryptocurrencies at a lower cost. We will also see the dangers associated with this kind of volatile day and how to avoid big mistakes so as not to get liquidated like this person on Twitter who testifies to having lost instead $200,000. Finally, I will quickly talk to you about the launch pools and launch pads that are currently taking place or will take place on various centralized exchanges. If interested, let's check it out now. Hello all, welcome to Roto Millions channel. As usual, I must ask if you're interested in my work. If you like the concept of these videos, let me know by liking, commenting, or asking me to discuss specific cryptocurrencies in future videos. If you're new, remember to go under this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and activate the notification bell to not miss any videos. We will start directly with the ETF. Why do many people think there will be an event tomorrow on ETFs? Therefore a potential approval? Well, simply because here you have the table of different ETF approval requests, and you can see that we have a deadline here on January 10th for ARK Invest, Cathie Wood's investment fund. Here the deadline is January 10th, next Wednesday. Why should we have a response by tomorrow? To provide time for this investment fund, ARK Invest, to make the final preparations in case its ETF becomes effective starting from Wednesday. We still need to give them time. It'd leave them the weekend and start of next week. We don't go like this. If approved, we wouldn't tell them the same day. They would not be ready to launch their ETF. Why is it a problem? Simply because we are on a deadline, and if the ETF is not approved here on the deadline, it will most certainly not be approved this year. And if it is not approved this year, the other ETFs may not be approved either. Imagine today you are informed, no ARK Invest, you cannot create a Bitcoin spot ETF, and in a few days, let's say on the 14th or 15th of January, we may approve BlackRock's ETF. It would create some connivance, it would create some competition. This kind of thing has little chance of occurring. Basically, either all ETFs will be approved or none will be. And so that's why tomorrow's date and this ETF of January 10th are so important. Because we'll mainly focus on whether we have our Bitcoin ETF or not. Whatever happens, tomorrow and the next few days will likely be highly volatile. We saw the volatility we had yesterday even though we didn't have any official news about an ETF rejection or approval for that matter. So there you have it. With the volatility we had yesterday based on rumors, based on wind in the end, imagine what it could be tomorrow if the ETF is really rejected. The volatility is expected to be extremely high. I do not particularly like this type of news, and personally I would have preferred if any validation on ETFs were to occur at a later time. Let me explain why. When we look at the Bitcoin chart here at this historical peak and here at one of these double tops, we had major events like that, just like the ETF will be currently. And what resulted from it? A big dump. So I dislike big announcements about Bitcoin as it reminds me of bad memories. Here we implemented futures contracts, boom, followed by a bear market in the year 2018. Here we had the IPO of Coinbase, boom, big correction. Then we had the double top and bear market. So you see, I don't really like this kind of big announcements about Bitcoin. It's a little scary. The only thing that reassures me is that we are still at a good minus 30, minus 35%, even minus 37% on Bitcoin compared to its historical peak. And so if we approve Bitcoin ETFs and big investors, big institutional portfolios start injecting money into Bitcoin, they will still be able to benefit from a nice increase before just reaching the previous historical peak, and why not make even higher gains if there were to be new higher historical peaks? So that's really what reassures me. But well, I would have preferred to see this announcement made later to be able to quietly benefit from a bull run without breaking my head in the end. After, maybe it will be a good opportunity. If billions are really being injected like that into Bitcoin in the coming days, weeks and months, it could potentially push the price higher, but I have to admit that it's still quite scary. Now, days like we had yesterday can be great chances. We'll examine it. Some cryptos that we missed the train on and didn't want to chase after are finally giving us a chance to catch up. But be careful not to do anything. We had a reminder today on Twitter with this person testifying to have been completely liquidated, therefore having completely lost the money he had in his cryptos with a loss of over $200,000. So there you go. What does it mean? It definitely means trading with leverage, which is already very risky. We are already handling cryptocurrencies, which are highly volatile, much more volatile than traditional markets. Trading cryptos in spot is already volatile. If we trade with leverage, remember money management and set safeguards with stop losses. If, for example, I say something stupid here, we want to trade this pattern and we want to open a long leveraged position at the breakout of this pattern. We can do it, but nothing stops us from setting a stop loss either at our entry point or slightly below, inside the triangle. If yesterday's events recur, that is, if the price starts to rise, we are in our trade. However, if it is invalidated with a flash crash, for example, and we are not in front of the screens, our stop loss will allow us to either cut our trade and lose a few pennies based on platform fees or have minimal losses. But absolutely not. Losing everything like that, losing $200,000 and burning your crypto account due to poor management is really the worst mistake to make, and really be very careful about that when you are trading. If you are trading, and especially with leverage, do it intelligently by adopting good habits and practicing risk management. It's super important, guys. So that's it for the aside. Now let's see the opportunities that may arise for us. And well, simply put, it can offer us excellent entry points on certain cryptos that we had missed out on. Personally, I missed the train on Casper, which is currently offering us an excellent correction. Here we are at least 30% sure it can be a good entry point for me to start putting some money slowly on Casper. If the price continues to drop, I will lower my acquisition price. If it starts to go up again, I'm on board, and I think we can talk about it again in the coming months. Having liquidity on the side in case of a flash crash to swiftly enter cryptocurrencies we've awaited a correction for a while, it can be fascinating. Look at Injective here. With yesterday's wick, it dropped to $29.30 for a decrease of 35%. Personally, I was eagerly anticipating a correction on Injective, so I was thrilled yesterday to enter at nearly minus 35%. So I didn't receive minus 35%, maybe minus 30%, but I'm still satisfied with my entry point on Injective. Same, one last example for those who missed the train on BitTensor. We still reached nearly $400, had a correction, now around $244 with a 40% decrease. Will BitTensor stay at $240 or go higher? That's a question that needs to be asked. For me, I don't question myself, I'm already on BitTensor train, but you understand. Let's go, before moving to launchpads and launch pools, I'll give you two cryptos that, in my view, have interesting graphical setups. For example, we have Lido, which I mentioned in a previous video, which was potentially forming a very large ascending triangle, and I explained that if we were to break this area, which is in purple, to the upside, we could be at the starting point of an impulsive movement that would push Lido even higher, so it could be interesting. Certainly, if you appreciate trading on it, remember to execute things properly, including risk management, money management, and of course, make sure to set stop-loss orders to protect your investments. Why not here, if you enter at the break of this figure, which we are potentially doing, put a SL just below, in the worst case, not lose much? Because here, during volatile days, with the potential for large dumps, possibly even tomorrow, we must take precautions. Be extremely careful in case the graphic configuration on Lido appears interesting here, and we can anticipate a potential increase if, of course, there is no cataclysm in the crypto market by tomorrow. Additionally, I would like to offer you GMX in the French language for your consideration. We may be observing the development of an inverse head and shoulders pattern on the chart at this point in time. So I excluded, of course, the strands here on the upside and the downside. They were so strong and so limited in time that I allow myself to exclude them. We have a first shoulder, the head, a dump bigger than what we had next to it, and then a second shoulder smaller than the head and about the same size as the shoulder, also touches the neckline. Usually, this pattern occurs in a downtrend, so we were indeed in a downtrend. We have a smaller first shoulder than the head and a second shoulder of the same magnitude as the first one, all touching the head here, and we are potentially retesting the neckline and potentially having a breakout. How to calculate target on inverse head and shoulders? Take height between head and neckline, project it to potential breakout base point, indicating increase on GMX that could bring us to around $89, perfect as technical target. Because it corresponds to this top that is here, it would be an excellent profit-taking zone, because when we attack a former top, either we pass it directly and then the price soars, or we have a consolidation or a correction. So very interesting here on GMX. Of course, be careful with technical analysis. It's not to be taken as gospel. It should be considered with a basket of indicators as well as technical and fundamental indicators. And if we have bad fundamental news, for example, tomorrow a disapproval of the Bitcoin ETF and a dump, it will invalidate this chart pattern. For those who like to farm IDOs, launch pads, launch pools on different centralized exchanges, you are served right now. On Bitgate, for example, we have the ZKF farming, which is currently active. On Bybit, in a new category called Token Splash, we have several here that are available, including the .com, and that's a BRC20 crypto. BRC20, it's an ecosystem that I particularly like, so you have the chance to participate in this event and win BRC20. We have a new launch pool coming soon with XAI. So there you go. It's always interesting to participate in this kind of event. It allows you to get some cryptos in a passive way, almost for free. And well, combine it all during a bull run, it can make for quite significant amounts. If you don't use these platforms you want to use and support my YouTube channel, I put the links in the description and pinned comment of these different platforms. Know that I systematically offer you the best reduction possibilities, for example, on your trading fees. If you use my links, you get the best bonuses. You won't find better elsewhere, because I do my best for the community. With a big disclaimer, my YouTube channel is in French, but I have other YouTube channels with translated videos in various languages like German, Spanish, Portuguese, etc. And so the laws that govern these different countries are not the same. So I invite you, you are adults, you are of legal age, to do your due diligence. To really go and check if the platforms we talk about on my YouTube channels, on my videos, are eligible, tolerated, approved in your countries, and use the platforms that correspond to you. It will depend on the countries. Me, I can't know the laws in all countries. Anyway, I keep links in desk, comments, and pinned for people who can use them in the country they reside in. Once again, thank you for being with me today. Tomorrow's day is likely to be very interesting, potentially a lot of volatility. I remind you that we have 216 potential likes to surpass. It would be great to see more than 216 likes on my video tomorrow. So I'm counting on you to take 2 seconds and press the button. Don't hesitate. If you want to learn more, go see other videos on my YouTube channel. See you tomorrow. Ciao.